Good evening, everyone. This is Saxman News. I'm your host, Saxman, and I'd like to welcome you to my new show, Saxman News. I don't want to call it. Let's get on with it. Here's some breaking news for you. Kamala Harris is the runner-up or the hopeful vice presidential hopeful with Joe Biden as the president candidate. It's supposed to be. They're going to run together. So let me give you some breaking news here. Mayor de Blasio threatens to lay off 22,000 NYC workers if the federal government doesn't bail him out by October 1st. He says because of the virus, he wants the stimulus package to pass. The new stimulus package that the Democrats is holding for hostage until we can get the voter thing going on. You know, the mail-in voter rights. He still pushes to defund the police department. 100 children have reportedly been shot in Democratic-controlled Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in 2020 alone. As recently as Saturday, 7-year-old Zamar Jones was shot to death in an incident involving 3 suspects. And on Wednesday night, a 6-year-old girl in West Philadelphia was shot in the chest while playing outside with her friends, and she remains still in the hospital. What's going on with this country? Minneapolis. Minneapolis mayor is asking for federal government to give them $55 million to repair their city after they allowed the citizens to destroy the entire city. They want the government to bail them out. $55 million. Can't believe it. I got some video I want to show you guys. It's gonna blow your mind. See, this is why I need an intern. This is gonna blow your mind because your Democratic hopeful, Kamala Harris, she's kind of how can I put it? Just a mess. And I'm gonna show you some videos involving her and Joe Biden. Your boy Joe Biden, he's senile, he's losing his marbles. I got some videos I'd like to share with you. I would like for you to look at them. Let me know what you think. They're funny to me. They're very funny. But I want you to check them out. I want you to enjoy this very much. I really want you to enjoy this video. I'm going to let you say... This is too much. Wait a second. See, that's why I need an intern. This is why I need an intern. But I'm going to let you see these videos that you watch for yourself, and you be the judge of what I've been saying for the longest and what you see. And you tell me, what's your opinion on these crazy Democrats? And would you actually vote for them? You let me know in the comments. Go on YouTube. I'm doing something where you guys are not going on YouTube enough. So I figure if I just do a video and just upload it to YouTube. If you want to see it, you got to go to YouTube and see it. Because you're not going to YouTube like I want you to. You're not viewing my videos and you're not liking. So this is what I want you to do from now on. You got to go on YouTube and see my videos. But you let me know what you think in the comments, too, on YouTube, and what you think about these videos. Check this out.
Why there is no excitement for this guy at all. You don't have to love Trump. But I implore you, people, do not choose that. Do not choose. And as they say on that show, and you can check out Live from Studio 6B, we give them mad props for making that, pulling up the clips, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern weeknights over on America's Voice News. We don't normally plug other shows on this show, but hell of a job, gentlemen, for making that. But as they say on there, and as we've seen and heard just in life and seeing through the news and checking stuff out on the internet, there is way more than that. That's just a 4 or 5 minute snippet of and a little picture into who Joe Biden is right now. And it's terrifying. It is really, really terrifying. If you feel like you can actually legitimately go and vote for that, then we've got a problem, and you need to do some inward looking. Again, you don't have to love Trump. Just don't choose that.
Now watch.
Pretty Diva 15 millimeters wide jaw opening oversized.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm screwing up. Big time. I'm screwing up live on the air. Damn, I had them all set up, y'all. I apologize. I had it set up, the video set up. Oh, shit. Damn. I had the video set up. I think it's this one.
I mean, look, you can see, why there is no excitement for this guy at all. You don't have to love Trump.
Wait a minute, is it this
one? But I implore you, people, do not choose that.
Wait a minute.
Do not choose. And as they say on that show, and you can check out Live from
I
Studio
picked the
16,
wrong
we
one.
give them mad props for making that, pulling up the clips, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern weeknights over on America's Voice News. We don't normally plug other shows on this show.
That's why I need an intern.
But hell of a job, gentlemen, for making that. But as they say on there, and as we've seen and heard just in life and seeing through the news and checking stuff out on the internet, there is way more than that. That's just a 4 or 5 minute snippet of and a little picture into who Joe Biden is right now. And it's terrifying. It is really, really terrifying.
I need an intern.
If you feel like you can actually legitimately go and vote for that, then we've got a problem, and you need to do some inward looking. Again, you don't have to love Trump. Just don't choose that.
I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it, y'all. And you're gonna look at it and you're going to trip out. Where the hell did it go?
Our friends over at America's Voice News made this gem, and it's not doctored.
Sorry.
Oh, here it is. Here it is.
No.
Hold on, let me get it back.
Just
here
sit back
it
and enjoy
is.
this.
I'm sorry, y'all. We wasted 8 minutes.
But enjoy it. Roll 4.
You know, the rapidly rising I don't know.
Look at this idiot.
Why doesn't he just act like a president? That's a stupid way to say it.
You know, Donald Trump was asked us.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No. Probably best I don't know what else. Look, tomorrow's Superstar Tuesday, and I want to thank you. I'll tell you what, I'm rushing ahead, aren't I? I would eliminate the capital gains tax. I would raise the capital gains tax. We choose unity over division. We choose science over fiction. We choose truth over fact. I commute every single solitary day to Wilmington, Delaware, over 500 miles a day. 250 miles a day. All right, Chuck. Thank you very much. All right. It's Chris, but anyway. I just did Chris. I just did Chuck. I tell you what, man, these are back to back. Anyway, I just can't figure the guy. It's like watching a yo-yo. I shouldn't have said it that way. It's like watching.
It feels that way. I want to ask you.
I'm coming directly to you for ask a quick favor. I tell you what, I'm so darn proud. And those poor people who have lost, anyway. I've been here a number of times. Last time was, I think, all the way back in 2014. been here before that. I love this place. Look, what's not to like about Vermont in terms of the beauty? What a neat town.
If elected, you would turn 82 at the end of your first term. You'd be the oldest president in American history.
Like Winston Churchill.
Are you willing to commit American history? Yeah.
We should make sure that we have no one going to jail for a drug offense. They go directly mandatory prison. I would say immediately moving to, we're in fact in a position now that if in fact we dealt with mitigation across the board, just what we did in the last administration and before, leading to a standard that we provide efficiency for appliances. That saves billions of gallons of gasoline. Billions of $2.3 billion worth of, $500 billion of savings and 2 billion metric tons of CO2 going in the air. Electric vehicles, in fact, the biggest problem is you can't stop to charge. We should have charging stations along every interstate highway in the country. Yeah. You pay for it just like you did gasoline. Sure. But if you can do that with bicycles in town, and you can put a nickel, I'm serious. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night. The phone, make sure the kids hear words. Kids from a very poor school, a very poor background, will hear 4 million words fewer spoken by the time they get there.
What is that first issue for your presidency?
The first thing I would do is make sure that we defeat Donald Trump. You've already done that. Why in God's name couldn't we provide an $8,000 tax credit for everybody who has child care costs? It would put 720 million women back in the workforce. 4 more years of Donald Trump will go down as an aberration. Hard to overcome the damage he's done, but we can overcome it. 8 more years of Donald Trump will change America in a fundamental way. 4 more years, you dumbass. We know will no longer exist. That's my little sister, Valerie, and I'm Jill's husband. Oh, no, this is my sister. They switched on me. I'm prepared to say that I have a record of over 40 years. Yeah. And that I'm going to beat Joe Biden. Right to raise a hand to a woman in anger other than in self-defense, and that's rarely ever occurs. And so we have to just change the culture, period, and keep punching at it and punching at it and punching at it. If you agree with me, go to Joe 30330 in this fight. Oh yeah, and a lion, dog, face, pony soldier. You said you were, but you're. Why attack Sanders? Why? You're getting nervous, man. Calm down. It's okay. 150 million people have been killed since 2007 when Bernie voted to exempt the gun manufacturers from liability. More. There are probably anywhere from 10 to 15% of the people out there that are just not very good people. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by go. You know the thing. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
November, we got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black. Ooh. I'm ready on day one after more than 3 years in office. Why isn't Donald Trump ready? Mr. President, wake up. Because we cannot re-elect. We cannot win this re-election. Excuse me. We can only re-elect Donald Trump. I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this thing.
And we hope that's what happened. We hope that we do elect Donald Trump. I mean, look, you can see, why there is no excitement for this guy at all.
Funny.
You don't have to love Trump. But I implore you, people, do not choose that.
Please don't.
Do not choose. And as they say on that show, and you can check out live from Studio 6B, we give them mad props for making that, pulling up the clips, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern weeknights over on America's Voice.
Yes, and if you vote for him, you an idiot. Let's see.
Joe Biden picks Kamala Harris for VP, and the Trump campaign is rightly licking its chops. Get ready. The campaign is on. I'm Ben Shapiro. This is The Ben Shapiro Show.
Is it this one? No, it's this one right here. Here you go. Here you
Your
go.
latte's ready.
Just the right information.
This Arabica bean was discovered in the 90s.
Too much information.
Nobody likes TMI. That's why TD Ameritrade's learning experience
Commercial.
customizes to give
Commercial.
you exactly the information you need.
Fucking commercials. Can't stand the commercials. Get out of the commercials. Beat it. All right, here we go.
So, on the issue of race, I couldn't agree more that this is an issue that is still not being talked about truthfully and honestly. There is not a black man I know, be he a relative, a friend, or a coworker, who has not been the subject of some form of profiling or discrimination. Growing up, my sister and I had to deal with the neighbor who told us her parents couldn't play with us because we were black. And I will say also that in this campaign, we've also heard, and I'm going to now direct this at Vice President Biden, I do not believe you are a racist. And I agree with you when you commit yourself to the importance of finding common ground. But I also believe, and it's personal, and I was actually it was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing. And, you know, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class.
Now, here we go. Here come the waterworks. Oh, it was so bad.
School every day.
Oh, I feel so bad.
And that little girl was me.
No.
So I will tell you that on this subject, it cannot be an intellectual debate among Democrats. We have to take it seriously. We have to act swiftly. As Attorney General of California, I was very proud to put in place a requirement that all my special agents would wear body cameras and keep those cameras on.
Senator Harris, thank you. Vice President Biden, you have been invoked. We are going to give you a chance to respond. Vice President Biden.
He ain't got nothing to say. Look at his brains is cooking.
It's a mischaracterization of my position across the board. I did not praise racist. That is not true. Number one. Number two, if we want to have this campaign litigated on who supports civil rights and whether I did or not, I'm happy to do that. I was a public defender. I didn't become a prosecutor. I came out and I left a good law firm to become a public defender when in fact my city was in flames because of the assassination of Dr. King. Number one. Now, number two, as the Vice President of the United States, I work with a man who, in fact, we worked very hard to see to it we dealt with these issues in a major, major way. The fact is that in terms of busing, the busing, you would have been able to go to school the same exact way because it was a local decision made by your city council. That's fine. That's one of the things I argued for, that we should be breaking down these lines. But so the bottom line here is, look, everything I've done in my career, I ran because of civil rights. I continue to think we have to make fundamental changes in civil rights. And those civil rights, by the way, include not just only African Americans, but the LGBT community.
But Vice President Biden, do you agree today that you were wrong to oppose busing in America? Then,
no,
do you agree?
I did not oppose busing in America. What I opposed is busing ordered by the Department of Education. That's what I opposed.
Well, there was a failure of states to integrate public schools in America. I was part of the second class to integrate Berkeley, California public schools almost 2 decades after Brown v. Board of Education.
Because your city council made that decision. It was a local decision. So
that's where the federal government must step in. That's why we have the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act. That's why we need to pass the Equality Act. That's why we need to pass the ERA, because there are moments in history where states fail to preserve the civil rights of all people.
I have supported the ERA from the very beginning when I ran.
Vice President Biden, 30 seconds, because I want to bring other people into this.
I supported the ERA from the very beginning. I'm the guy that extended the Voting Rights Act for 25 years. We got to the place where we got 98 out of 98 votes in the United States Senate doing it. I've also argued very strongly that we, in fact, deal with the notion of denying people access to the ballot box. I agree that everybody, once they, in fact, they should. Anyway, my time's up.
Thank you, Vice President.
Damn. Ooh, Lord. She got him. She got him. But the thing is, he could have dogged her back using that same logic, because she was being prosecutor, and what is this fucking man? Yeah, her being federal prosecutor, throwing people, black people in jail on low level crimes. He could have jacked her thoroughly on that one, but he didn't. Didn't want that one. Sorry, didn't want that one. I do want you to see this.
There's never been a season like this.
Not that. Commercial! Commercial! Get out of there! Fucking commercial.
The reason this comes up is because yesterday the Daily Mail leaked
Here you go.
more of the tape from the George Floyd arrest. Like the minutes leading up to the 8-minute tape that we've all seen, that horrible tape of Derek Chauvin kneeling on George Floyd's neck. Okay, and the media should have covered this responsibly from the beginning by including all the details, because maybe that would have led to a non-overcharge. And there are a few things in the minutes leading up to George Floyd, the situation we've all seen with Derek Chauvin with his knee on George Floyd's neck. There are a bunch of things in the minutes leading up that cut against the homicide case against Derek Chauvin. Okay, so just to sum these up. One, the police, when they arrest George Floyd, they tried to talk to him. They tried to be nice to him. They did this for many long minutes. Second, there were other people in the car, which I was not aware of. I didn't realize Floyd wasn't in the car alone. And those other people didn't resist the cops. They didn't resist arrest, and they're fine. Right? They're standing off to the side talking to the police, and they are completely fine. Third, you'll hear in these clips that George Floyd is begging not to be put in the car. He says he would rather be on the ground than in the car. And he is saying, "I cannot breathe," before he is even on the ground. Now, this does mesh with the original state autopsy report, which suggested that the cause of death was not asphyxiation. The problem with a homicide case is you have to prove proximate cause. You have to prove that the cops actually caused his death. But it seems a lot more like, at best, stress exacerbated an already bad medical situation. When they arrived, he was not lucid. When they arrived, he was already acting wild and claiming he could not breathe.
Yep.
The reason I'm bringing this up is not to say that you should be allowed to kneel on somebody's neck for 8 minutes. The reason I'm saying this is because when the media do not cover these cases and include all of the fact pattern, what you end up with is a belief that these guys will definitely end up in jail. And then it turns out that the fact pattern is a little more complicated and they may very well get off. So if you liked the riots last time around, wait until the officers are acquitted because of the prosecutorial overcharge brought by AG Keith Ellison in Minnesota. Here's a little bit of the tape that was released yesterday. The media are not covering this tape because, again, it cuts against a lot of the case that's being made.
That's right.
Namely that the officers knew that Floyd was dying and disregarded everything.
Right.
Again, he was claiming he could not breathe when he was sitting in the car, which suggests that when he claimed he couldn't breathe lying on the ground, they were going to take that with exactly the same level of seriousness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's a little bit of the tape.
I see your hands. Damn, man. Stay in the car. Let me see your other hand. I'm sorry. Let me see your other hand. Both hands. I got shot the same way as I was before. Okay, well, when I say let me see your hands, you put your hands up.
Okay, so he doesn't put his hands on the wheel. Then he does. Then once he does, the officer with his gun drawn puts the gun back down. Floyd is basically begging the officers in this tape. I mean, it's all terrible. Floyd is begging the officers, "I don't want to be hurt." And they're saying, "We're not going to hurt you. Everything's fine." And everything was fine until he resisted arrest, which does not justify the actions of the officers, but makes it much more premeditated murder.
They lied when they say he didn't resist. They lied.
Okay, then he says he doesn't want to get in the car. He says, and they're saying to him, "We'll open the window for you."
Mm-hmm.
They're saying, "We will open the window for you. We'll make sure that you can breathe."
Mm-hmm.
Right? These are not the actions of officers who deeply do not care about George Floyd, at least up to the point where he's on the ground, right, and actively resisting arrest. Here's a little bit more of the tape.
Please crack it for me and stuff, man. I am claustrophobic for real, officer. Can you please crack it for me, please?
Yes, I'm cracking.
Stay with me, man.
I will.
Please stay with me, man. Thank you. Okay.
Grab a seat.
I'll
roll the windows down.
They're saying they'll stay with him, they'll roll the windows down for him.
And I just had COVID, man. I want to go back to that.
He says, "I already have COVID."
Hey, listen.
Dang, man.
Listen.
I'm not that kind of guy.
I'll roll the windows down.
Please, man.
He's already claiming that he's going to die before he even gets in the car because of claustrophobia and because he was, in fact, high on fentanyl, according to the autopsy reports. Again, the point here is not the officers did the right thing. That's not the point at all. The point is the media's irresponsible coverage of situations like this is going to lead to revelations in the jury trial that may end up with the acquittal of the officers.
That's right.
So you should be made aware of this before you actually get to trial.
Yep.
The media instead largely ignored this yesterday. which suggests that they're going to cover this in the same way they covered the Michael Brown trial. They're going to suggest that Michael Brown was wrongly shot, even when the evidence went the other way, and then the officer ended up being exonerated. Now, in this case, George Floyd should not have been treated that way by the officers. An assault charge was probably more justifiable on the grounds that have been put forward.
Right.
So this is...
That's right.
You know, again, the wonderful job by the media all around here. Wonderful job by the media. Facts don't care about your feelings, and it's a fact that the bench...
And see, and that's the whole thing I've been telling people for the longest. It ain't the knee that killed him. You know, he was already going through his little thing, sickness, that was going to probably take his ass out anyway. But the idea is, they were nice to him. They wasn't trying to kill him. They wasn't there to hurt him. They was being really nice to this guy. We're just trying to get him in the back of the car so they can arrest him. So he fought. He resisted. The result, he asked to be on the ground. The results is what you got. That's the results.
Other campaign has been powered by the
commercial.
The silent heroes of America.
Damn it, commercial.
Like ours. That's
Shut up, commercial. Get out of commercial. Let's get to the shit. Here you go.
This is a news alert. Hundreds of BLM supporters show up at the Chicago mayor's house after President Trump sends in federal troops. I'm Josh Bernstein filling in for Gary Franchi and the Next News Network. Now, before we get to that story, folks, remember Next News has been heavily censored.
Remember, guys, you watching this video, Saxman Russaw Show, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, enjoy this video. Support your boy Saxman. This is why I'm doing everything on YouTube now.
Your story here.
If you guys are watching everything on Facebook and not going to YouTube.
Supporters and militants showed up in Chicago at Mayor Lori Lightweight's Logan Square home on Thursday night. Mayor Lightweight didn't push back hard enough against the feds rolling into Chicago to quell the violence, so of course the BLM
like Beetlejuice
are now angry. BLM doesn't care about the black people and the black fate of the people, and if they did, then they would be protesting the fact that there are hundreds of people being killed all year round in every single night in Chicago. 8 the other night, 19 the night before. I mean, it's just an absolute war zone. It looks like Sarajevo in Chicago. And Portland's no better. Portland's even worse, the violence going on over there. But again, this didn't fit the narrative, so now, of course, they're protesting. BLM supporters blasted rap music and chanted F Donald Trump. Go ahead and roll this clip.
Since we know how you really feel, it's how we feel.
Well, give back your stimulus check.
BLM twerked in front of Lori
Give back your stimulus check.
Notice that barely any of them are actually wearing medical masks.
Right, because the virus is bullshit. Black folk. It's a black folk. It's embarrassing. And they represent everybody. It's embarrassing. They represent you social justice warriors out here, you liberals. That's who represent you right there. And women get mad when you sexualize them by talking about their breasts and their butt, but look at what they do. They sexualize themselves
now,
and get mad at you.
That are trying to tell us that they know how to run the country.
Right.
America, you should be afraid. You should be afraid of these people.
Right.
They want to make your lives more dangerous. They want to get rid of the police. They want to defund the police. And don't tell me it's just a reorganization of funds into something else.
Bullshit.
If you take money away from the police to do their job and you give it to someone else, it doesn't matter. You still took it away, which means what? You defunded them.
Right,
okay?
right.
No matter how much mental gymnastics the left wants to come up with, you're still defunding the police. So please, folks, don't believe this garbage of, well, we're just going to reallocate funds to somewhere else. No, you are defunding the police. Now, what I'm going to do in the wrap-up is I'm going to do something that the rest of the media refuses to do. You know what that is?
What's that?
Tell the truth.
Right.
Because here's the bottom line. What you think you know about the George Floyd case and how he was killed, you don't know the full story. You know why? Because if the media ever had to report it, they would have to admit that they were wrong.
Right.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the transcripts. That's right. The body cam audio transcripts that have been released. You probably don't even know it. Maybe some of you do. Some of you do. This was Thomas Lane, the officer that was on the scene first. Okay? This is according to, these transcripts are according to the body cam audio. All right? Now, I'm going to try to do it as quick as possible because I don't want to spend 10, 15 minutes on it. If you want to see the full video, you can go to the Josh Bernstein Show on my YouTube channel or on Roku TV as well. So here's how this works, okay? He falls asleep in the car. He obviously is drunk on drugs, whatever, and they call the police, right, in front of the convenience store. The first officer that comes by is Thomas Lane, 37-year-old Thomas Lane. He comes by, and he sees him in the car. So he says to him, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 10 times, "Let me see your hands." To which Floyd, for whatever reason, didn't show him his hands. So naturally, the officer is upset and is worried about his own safety, so he draws his weapon, and he goes up to the window with his gun pointed at him and says, "Let me see your hands." Then finally, he shows him his hands. Then Floyd says, I'm sorry, man. I got shot the same way before, Mr. Officer." Lane then says, "Please step out of the vehicle and face this way." He tells him a direction to face. "I'm not going to shoot you." Floyd then says, "I want to look you in the eye, man. Please don't shoot me." Lane then says, "I told you I'm not going to shoot you." Floyd then says, "I just lost my mom, man." Lane then says, looks over to a witness, later named as Shawanda Hill, and says, quote, "Why is he acting all squirrely and weird? Is he drunk or something?" Hill then says, "I don't know. He has this thing going on with the police." Lane then says, "What do you mean?" Hill says, "He has problems all the time whenever they come." Now, as officers are trying to get Floyd into the squad car, he resists arrests. He then says, Floyd, "I'm claustrophobic." They get him in the car. "I can't breathe." Here's the important part. What has Black Lives Matter been doing? They've been wearing t-shirts and hats and writing graffiti saying what? "I can't breathe," right? Because they think that that's the first time he said it was when he was on the ground. Right. That's not the case. Right. He said, "I can't breathe" at least 10 times before he was actually restrained. Right. "I'm claustrophobic. I can't breathe, man. I can't breathe. Please open the windows. I can't breathe. I can't breathe." Then he says, "Y'all are going to kill me. I'm going to die in here. I just got COVID, man. I don't want to go back to that." Then he says, Lane says, "I'll crack the windows for you and I'll turn on the air conditioning." Right. Floyd then says something unbelievable. He says, "I can't breathe, man. I can't breathe. I need to lay down and I want to lay down on the ground." Right. He actually says, "I can't breathe and I want to lay down on the ground." Okay? Now, shortly after all of this is when officers Derek Chauvin, and I can't pronounce this guy's name, Thao, whatever the hell his name is, arrive at the scene as backup, okay? The officers then, as to per Floyd's request, lay him down on the ground, and it is at this point when the viral video is first taken. This is where America and the rest of the world sees Floyd with the knee on the ground, with Derek Chauvin's knee on his neck, which was horrible, which was terrible. And I'm not discounting anything that this officer did. He should be held accountable for it.
That's right.
But the truth is that all of that transpired for him to get to the position that he was in the ground. Now, it gets even more interesting. The officers then put him down on the ground, and Chauvin says, "You're doing a lot of talking, man." He says this to Floyd. Then Lane is having a conversation with Chauvin. He says, "Should we roll him over on his side?" To which Derek Chauvin says, "No, he's staying put where we got him." Lane then says a few minutes later, "Okay, I'm just worried because of all the hysteria." Chauvin then says, "Well, that's why we have an ambulance coming." Lane says, "Okay, I suppose, but are you sure we shouldn't roll him onto his side. Paramedics then arrive. They start performing CPR in the ambulance. Officer Lane goes inside the ambulance, and one of the paramedics asks Officer Lane, "Tell me what happened here." To which Officer Lane says, "We were trying to get him into the back of the squad car, but he kept on resisting us. He kept telling us that he couldn't breathe, and he was kicking the door and the window trying to break free. So we came around the other side of the car, and we walked to the other side. We got him out of the car. He resisted. He kept kicking at us. So we physically dragged him out of the car, and we put him down on the ground and restrained him until you guys got here."
Right.
Okay? Now, how come the media, with all this information coming out, will not report any of this? No, but the Josh Bernstein Show.
They want
will do
chaos,
it,
Josh. They
and
want chaos.
I'm giving it to all of
They
you
want-
at the Next News
they
Network
want black people
as
to be
well.
mad and go
Now,
tear up their
I'm not
towns.
condoning what Derek
That's
Chauvin
what they
did.
want.
I think what he did is absolutely terrible,
Right.
and he needs to pay the price
Right.
for putting his knee on his neck and doing what he did.
Absolutely.
However, let's understand that he was saying he couldn't breathe.
Way
maybe
before.
because he had COVID, maybe he had other issues,
Way
whatever.
before.
But he did it 10 times before he was restrained. He asked to be put on the ground.
Yep.
And he refused to show his hands.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying that all of that should have culminated in his death. Absolutely not.
Right.
But I will tell you this, based on this information from the body cam imaging, I'll tell you right now that 3 out of the 4 officers
are going to walk.
have their cases dismissed.
Sure is.
Certainly not Derek Chauvin, but the other 3,
That's right.
you watch.
Yep.
It's going to happen.
And they're going to have
You know
to
what's
pay
unfortunate?
back
That
pay
they're
to
gonna
those
riot
officers.
all over again. But here's the
They
thing.
pay them officers.
This is what started, right? This was the spark, if
Uh-huh.
you will, that started everything.
Yep.
With all the riots in Minneapolis and Chicago and New York and Los Angeles and Phoenix and Philadelphia and all around the country. And think of how many people were affected by this.
Yep.
How many officers died. Officer Underwood, Officer Dorn, many others.
How many civilians
Officers
died?
being hit over the head.
Kids,
at the
young
Brooklyn Bridge.
kids, women.
All of this violence and
Yes.
looting
Yes.
and blowing up police cars
Yeah.
and blowing up police stations.
Shooting people.
And riots and destroying businesses.
Yes.
All for what? For not telling the full story?
Right.
And for this gentleman resisting arrest
Yep.
and getting to this point?
Yep.
It's a dereliction of duty by the media. They have blood on their hands, and they should be held accountable.
They should be.
Will they ever? No.
Nope.
Of course not.
Nope.
It'll be up to people like me, the Next News Network,
And me.
many others.
And the
that are
Saxman
afraid
Russaw
to
show.
tell all of you
That's right.
the truth.
That's right.
Those are my thoughts. What are yours?
Saxman
Put 'em down in the
Russaw
comments
supports
below.
this.
Give us a like, give us a share. Continue to watch the Next News Network. I'm Josh Bernstein, filling in for Gary Franchi. If you want to learn more about me, check out the Josh Bernstein Show on YouTube. You can also go and check out the show on Roku TV and also on Parler as well. And we'll see you on the next report.
If you remember,
That's
when
what I'm
CV
talking
first
about.
hit, almost
Now you understand. I've been saying this for the longest to everybody who wants to push back against me. It's all I've been saying. Over and 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 over again. I kept saying the same thing. And all I get is pushback from people who don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear it. They want to blame him. They want to riot and destroy and justify shooting and killing people over this stuff. And I've been saying that for the longest. But it's all good. You can hate. You can push back. You can get angry all you want. It doesn't solve the matter. If the guy wouldn't have resisted, he'll be alive today. Simple as that. Had he not resisted arrest, he would be sitting watching my show. That's the best way I can put it. Hey, watching my show. But I'm just saying, this is your boy Saxman. I'm gonna cut the show short. It's all about news. I'm gonna be doing a lot of news videos about other different things that's going on out here in the world, and I will be putting it up on my show on Fridays, Saturdays. I might have an in-studio show, but this is how I'm gonna be doing it from now on. I want you guys to go on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, like my videos, share my videos, and start supporting your boy on YouTube. All right, I won't be putting them up on Facebook Live really that much because y'all done got spoiled just watching them on Facebook and not coming on YouTube. I need y'all to go on YouTube to help support me to get my show up. That's what I need. Support your boy Saxman. And this is what I'm saying. It's the Saxman Russaw Show, breaking news show today. I'm your host, Saxman, and I hope you have a great day.